Hi everybody, it's Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook, and I'm here with a new series for my channel. I'm going to spend a little longer in this video, but my hopes is that these videos will be more mini videos. I have noticed that I have become quite a little talker in these videos, and they have extended on and on a lot longer than I want them to be. I value your time as I do mine, and I know if I'm on here for 25 and 30 minutes, you know, it takes up your time. So I came up with the idea, and I put it immediately. I'm writing them now like a good girl inside my book journal, so that I will be able to, implement. I come up with ideas and I write them on a piece of paper, or I just forget about them. So this one I came up because I know I'm going to say this and you're going to go, well, yeah. I am cleaning my bookcases, okay? I know we've talked about this in the past. We've talked about me and I'm getting the blanket again. We talked about me, and we talked about how I'm going to get rid. I think the last time we talked about it, I was like, I'm going to get rid of 20 books, but my approach was not exactly what it should be. I was approaching it in the manner that I would just pull from the shelves books that I know I either read, don't want anymore, don't think I'm going to read, or whatever. But I found, I know there's all these new ways of organizing and cleaning, like Marie Kondo and etc. But I do see value in some of the systems in terms of your approach. Because what was happening there was I would pull a few books out, and then I would be pre-ordering and ordering, and those, holes would be filled immediately. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to have a well-oiled machine system by the end of this year, that I have this balanced bookcases, that they are not overstuffed or etc. But what I'd like to set a goal for myself before the end of this year is to actually only have books that I really intend on reading or keeping because I've read and I still really want them on my shelf, but none of the others. And I have a lot of books that I bought years ago. And this is why I have so many bookshelves, because I just keep expanding. Instead of purging, I'm expanding. So in the process of doing that, this is a roundabout way of me explaining where we're going with this. So bear with me. So in the process of doing this, I took, in one of the bookcases that I'm in right now, I took everything off. And I thought about, I've seen people on Instagram and that they have done their books color coded. And I'm like, because even though in this particular bookshelf, I thought that, I had some level of organization. It was chaos, but there was organization within that madness, okay? So I would have like a section where there was some science fiction, or I would have some classics grouped together, by author. And it worked until it didn't work, in terms of I ended up just stuffing more books into those sections, so they really still didn't make sense. So I took them all out, and I said, okay, let's just try the color thing and see where it lands me. And it actually did a really good job of purging this bookcase, because I realized I had a lot of books that are all the same color on their spine, so that was nice. But there were a lot that didn't fall in that. So they are kind of in what I'm calling right now the book limbo. So in book limbo, I will be either donating those books, or giving them to some friends or people that I know that might, so they have a new home, that somebody will read them. But I think that, some of the books, I just know that I might want to really read. And it's forcing me to really, to like do that question. Are you going to read it? Do you really want to think you're going to read this? Do you really think you want to keep it to occupy this valuable real estate? Could you put it on a list, and in that list you could check it out from the library? It could be an ebook, it could be a physical book. As long as it's a book that I feel that I don't want to buy again, it can go, right? So that is helping me a lot, and maybe that'll help some of you, because I don't know about you, but I am a serious book hoarder. I'm just calling it like I see it. It's unfortunate because The beauty is lost in the madness. But what I have done with this one bookshelf and this one go around is make it look really beautiful. So it's really emphasizing the books more, and there's room to breathe. It's not stuffed. It's also inspired me to visit my other bookshelves, because now I have books that I'm not going to put any more in this bookshelf. So either these books, they get read and they get kept, or they go, sayonara, gotta go. I don't know. So that's where I'm going with that. And that's what I'm going to do with the other bookshelves, is clear some places so that I can put some of the books that I do want to stay, but that aren't going to go on that bookshelf. So it is causing a chain reaction of me visiting all of my bookcases, which I only intended on doing one, because I don't know about you, it is very emotional to let go of books for me. So that said, I started to see a pattern. And this video is going to be longer than the rest of this series, just because I'm explaining the madness here. So I started to see a pattern, and I hear about books or authors, and I snatch up the book, and then I fall for the next shiny new object, which would be a new release or a readathon or what have you, and then that book gets pushed aside, and then I forget about it, and then I'm out shopping again, or when I go, I haven't been in a while, but if I go to like Savers, or where you can get secondhand books, I'll see that author again, and I'll pick up another book. Now I've got 2 books that I haven't read. Hence the name of this series, because I tend, now this isn't, and I'll explain it first. So I tend to buy 2 and I never read them. So what I want to feature in this video are books that have not been read, that I bought at least 2 books, 2 of their books without reading them. I'm just going on the gut that it's going to be good, and I'm going to want this other one, and why not? Especially sometimes, like the first 4 books I'm going to show you today, I got all secondhand. One I actually got in a little library, so I didn't pay anything for it. So I think that it's just really interesting to see that. What I'm hoping out of the video is, it might inspire you, to do some more purging in your bookshelves, and remember how valuable that real estate is there. Do you just act like a real estate agent? Like, this is valuable space here. Do you really deserve a space here, or, whatever? I gotta let go of some of the sentiment I attach to books. Sometimes it's just, I bought it in a certain place or on vacation. Doesn't mean I need to keep it, right? But so I thought it would also inspire you, and it also might give you some new authors to read. Now, what I'm also going to say is that as I'm continuing to purge, I'm going to revisit these books that I'm showing you, and some of them might go, and I might just put them on the list to check out from the library, digitally or physically at a later time, because I just don't have the space to continue to grow with things that are lingering that I haven't read and don't know when I'm going to get to, and don't feel so compelled. And I also think that this process has helped me, just like the book, the TBR card, it's making it more visual to me. I walk past my bookcases all the time, but I just keep going. And so I think this is forcing me to really look at things. So that said, I'm going to feature, probably in these videos, 2 authors per video, so I can keep it short. And I will show you the books, and I will probably have to, on almost all of them, read back to you, because I have not looked at these books in a very long time, years, many of them. If you've read some, let me know. And if if you think I should read one before the other of one of them, I'm all about it. Give me the feedback. I love it. It makes my day, and it just helps me with the decisions that paralyze me when it comes to reading, right? So I have a bunch of authors. They are not all African-American authors, but I thought today I would still feature, since we're in Black History Month, 2 African-American authors, books that I have, books that I want to show you. Okay, so the first one is Ernest J. Gaines. Now, I think what I should do, and if this is in my little app I have that I basically scan, and I keep track of all the books I own. I didn't start it in the very beginning, so some books might not have made it, and this one might not have been one that had made it, but I can seriously say that this and the next one I've had for years. Yeah, years. Isn't that sad? So this one is written by, like I said, Ernest J. Gaines, and it's A Gathering of Old Men. Um, and I have his other book as well, and I'll show you that one, and then I'll tell you what they're about. And that one is called A Lesson Before Dying. And I guess this one was an Oprah book at one point. So so these are both fiction, and I'll read you the description on the back of the books, so you can at least, if you haven't read them, or they might be something you might be interested in as well. Set on a Louisiana sugarcane plantation in 1970s, A Gathering of Old Men is a powerful depiction of racial tensions arising over the death of a Cajun farmer at the hands of a black man. Early in this eloquent novel, a sheriff is summoned to a sugarcane plantation where he finds one young white woman, about 18 old black men, and one dead Cajun farmer. The sheriff is sure he knows who killed the Cajun, although each of the men is toting a shotgun. Only one of them could hit a barn door, but threats hit a barn door. But threats and slaps fail to change their stories. Each one claims guilt, and all but one promises to provoke a riot at a courthouse if the sheriff tries to make an arrest. In the meantime, they wait for a lynch mob that the dead man's father, like his son, a notorious brute, is sure to launch. Before it is over, everyone involved has been surprised by something. The old black men, not least of all, but by their first taste of power and pride. So, this sounds a little drama, right? It sounds like a little bit of drama happening here. This one was written, let me see, it was published 1983, and I think the first edition was 1983 as well. So it's a little old, okay? So I've had it a while, and I just haven't read it. I don't know why. Like I said, the same reason as I get attracted to all these new things and I forget. Oh, the sun is coming. Okay, not going to be distracted. So there's that one, right? Let me know if you read it, if you liked it. Okay, if not. Okay, and the next one is A Lesson Before Dying, which apparently was his first book, and this one was published in. And this one's got a little bit of yellowing pages, so I know I got this used. Well, this one was published. Let's see, when's the first edition? It says copyright 1993, but it looks like, I feel like this one, obviously it has to be older than this one. I don't have the date on this. Yeah, huh. I will find that out though. Anyhow, I'm not going to take up too much time. So A Lesson Before Dying is set in a small Cajun community in the late 1940s. Jefferson, a young black man, is an unwitting party to a liquor store shootout in which 3 men are killed. The only survivor, he's convicted of murder and sentenced to death. Grant Wiggins, who left his hometown for the university, has returned to the plantation school to teach. As he struggles with his decision whether to stay or to escape to another state, his aunt and Jefferson's godmother persuade him to visit Jefferson in his cell and impart his learning and his pride to Jefferson before his death. In the end, the 2 men forge a bond that they both come to understand the simple heroism of resisting and defying the expected. Ernest J. Gaines brings to this novel the same rich sense of place, the same deep understanding of the human psyche, and the same compassion for people and their struggle that have informed his previous highly praised works of fiction. So, okay, yeah, he's written other things. He's written he's written A Gathering of Old Men, In My Father's House, A Long Day in November, the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, we know that one, Bloodline, and Of Love and Dust, and one more is Catherine Carmier. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. So I could potentially read these and then pursue the backlist of his books, you know, and see how they are. They all seem to be, there's always some kind of crime being committed. So I'm really curious about it. So like I said, this has been in my, oh my God, it's buried in the shelf. So this is one author. So the second author I've mentioned on here recently, Sue. I haven't read her books either, and that's Gloria Naylor. And these are 2 books that I own of hers. This one I got on vacation in Martha's Vineyard in a and a little library. And you should have saw me because I could see it from across the street. Because they had it faced, like the books were like this, but this one was out kind of like that. And I was like, oh, and I'm like, hold on, kids, everybody hold on. I gotta go look in there. And it was unfortunate because I forgot where we were going. I had to carry this around with me for the rest of the day until we got to, because did we have the car that day? Yeah, I think we did bring the car. I had to wait till we got to the car to put it into the car. But yeah, and this one is like new. Like it's, you know, it's not, I mean, it's not, you know how you get to use a really old one. So it's in good shape. So we have this one, and the other one, I do think I have Brewster's Place too, but maybe I don't, which would make my 3. But anyways, I have these 2, and I've never read, obviously, anything by her. This one, let's see, I'll read this one first. This one is Mama Day, and this timeless yet indelible, authentic Gloria Naylor's Mama Day is set on the Georgia Sea island of Willow Springs, where people still use only herbal medicine and honor ancestors who came over as slaves. On Willow Springs lives Mama Day, a matriarch who can call up lightning storms and see secrets in her dreams. But all of Mama Day's powers are tested when her great niece, a stubbornly emancipated woman, finds her life and soul in danger from this island's dark forces. Mama Day is a powerful generational saga, one tender and suspenseful, overflowing with magic and common sense. So there's this one, and this one, oh boy, oh God. Well, I can see why I probably didn't read this one. Whoa, the writing is so small. But I do like this. In the front, they have like, I love, like, you know how they have the family tree? I love that. I love maps and things like that in the beginning of books. Oh, look at, and they even have, you know, so now you can see, I guess this is the plantation, right? Or maybe not. No, it's just a town. It's just a town, but it tells you where everybody is. So you can kind of visualize it, right? So Gloria Naylor has written The Women of Brewster's Place, Linden Hills, Bailey's Cafe, and obviously Mama Day. And I haven't read any of them. This one was, at least this edition, this is Vintage Books. This one was published, hello, in 1980, wait. I don't see it on here. Where is it? It was published in 1980. It's 1988. This particular edition came out in 1993. So again, we're getting, these are books from the 80s. It would also be just interesting to look at the writing style then about the topic versus people writing now about those same topics back in that time period. So there's that one. And then Bailey's Cafe is, welcome to Bailey's Cafe, the most mythical real eating place you've ever walked into. Presided over by Bailey himself and his health mate, Nadine, it is a magnet that draws a wide variety of society's detritus, each with her own story to tell. This is Sadie, whose addiction to alcohol is second only to her mania for cleanliness, and the oddly maternal Eve, whose bordello accepts only fresh flowers as legal tender. Sweet Esther, who takes nothing but white roses for her very particular favors, and Peaches, whose badly mutilated face is in sharp contrast to her goddess's body. Jessie Bell, for whom the love of woman cannot overcome her lust for heroin. Miss Maple, a transvestite who makes a handsome living by entering soap flake contests, and Miriam, the Ethiopian child who may be the bearer of a miracle. One would call them misfits all, but in the magical aura of Bailey's Cafe, as the New Year's approaches, each becomes a universal creature of biblical stature. Magic, too, touches every line of each one's story. For this, we have only the consummate skills of Gloria Naylor to thank. This one, 1992. Yeah, 1992. So yeah, this one sounds interesting, but it sounds like I'm gonna definitely have to put that little piece there or copy that so I know who's who. She tends to, it sounds like, even like in Brewster's Place, have a lot of different characters, in their novels, so it would be very interesting to see. If I was saying which one I sounds like would want to read first, I think this one before this one. But let me know if you guys have read this and what you think of it. So those are the first two. And like I said, they're not all African American authors. I have a lot of stuff, and I have some, I have a lot. And some of them I have read a book by them, but I haven't read anything in a long time, and so I wanted to put those in here as well. But it's just odd, and it's typically 2 books that I get per author, and it usually curses it. It's like I don't end up reading them for whatever reason. Like I said, you know, the new stuff is always so much more fascinating and colorful, but you know, there's something to be said about reading things written in the different periods and different times, because there's more authentic messaging kind of coming out of it, and it's kind of raw, you know. So I'm kind of curious to see how those read and how I react to them, having not read stuff like that in a long time. And then so I'm going to come back with more videos, and we're just going to keep talking about these. And then I'm going to pare down. There will be some of these I can definitely see. I'm looking down because I have them piled here. And this is so far. I know I have some more in my other shelves that I have that are pairs like that. So, but I'm thinking that I definitely could get rid of some of these and just read them or borrow them when I need them. And that just frees up a whole shelves of books. So I'm excited about that, but I am, it is definitely an emotional process. I don't know if it is for you to get rid of books, even books that I don't, you know, well, ones that I don't want to read anymore, like your taste has changed. My taste is totally continuing to evolve every year to year. And so there's things that I have from 4 and 5 years ago that I'm like, I couldn't even, what? No, I didn't want to crack this spine, you know? So, you know, and it's not to say anything bad about the book. It's just everybody evolves into different tastes and different interests, and that's where we are. But there are some of these that are treasures I know, and I want to get to them. So we'll see. But anyways, this is my new series, so look for more of them. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you know any of these authors that I mentioned, the 2 that I mentioned today, and I look forward to talking to you about some more books soon. Bye.